Large.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much for having us as one of the sponsors here. Great to be here and share a little bit about what we do and how we work with a lot of the brands on Shopify and Magento. So as Derek had mentioned, I'm going to focus on the theme here, what we're calling conversational commerce. And essentially the goal here is to really discuss not so much on the customer support side, but how, after all of your marketing initiatives, how can you drive sales when people are reaching out to you from all of these different channels. So before I begin, just wanted to share some of the insights that we saw with regards to COVID, back in March, and more focus on where we're at now, because that's a few months ago. So not really going to focus on the beginning, but yeah, essentially there was a big dip back in March. Everybody stopped spending. Which is what we all know. But interestingly enough, and just take a step back, this graph basically shows order volume for all of the merchants that we work with. You can see into mid-March, the first week and the second week of March, a huge spike in order volume. And essentially this is higher than pre-COVID levels. And it's actually about what we were seeing in terms of order volume during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And then you can see all the way into May, it basically plateaued at these Black Friday, Cyber Monday levels. And if I extended this further into June now, what we have started to see with the opening of the economy in the US is there's a little bit of a dip, but it's actually still higher than March. So we've fast-tracked e-com. Well, COVID, as a result of COVID, we've seen e-commerce fast track, a couple of years in terms of total retail. And so with this huge spike in e-commerce, what does this mean for your support team, for your sales agents, anything like that in terms of volume? So on the left side, this is ticket volume, the number of communications with customers, and you can see here like March into the end of May, it's about a 2x in ticket volume. So huge influx in volume, which is obviously great for your business if you can handle that volume. And then on the right side, what we're seeing is active users, so the number of support agents. So you can see within that same time span, there's only been an increase in about 20 to 30% of support agents with a 2x increase in volume. So basically what that means is that the support team is working, they're working double time. They're handling double the volume without double the agents. So just this really highlights the importance of being able to automate as much as you can, obviously in a very personalized way, and really streamline your processes so you're able to respond to these people fastly, in a personal manner. Because if you can, then there's a lot of opportunity to, drive a lot more sales. And that's kind of what we're going to get into in a few slides from here. And so this is just what happened during COVID, at least online. Obviously, there's a lot of factors like stimulus checks and things like that. But initially, what we saw, in the middle of March at kind of the peak when this all started to onset, was a huge decrease in CPMs. So the brands that were kind of spending and not holding off, because of the uncertainty, they were just getting really nice ad costs. And then as soon as e-commerce started picking up, they were just getting the best ad costs they'd ever gotten, at least in recent years, and they were driving a lot more revenue. And then if you go back into May and June now, CPMs are back up. So e-commerce is basically higher than it was. CPMs are basically the same as they were pre-COVID, and things are going really well, even with the opening of the economy. And then in terms of strategy, and of course this is changing every month. These examples were kind of when COVID started, but essentially the kind of underlying theme, if even watching commercials, digital, essentially any kind of advertising, was really addressing COVID with your brand. So like even if you weren't an essential item, there were ways that a lot of brands were still extremely successful throughout all of this. So like one example that a lot of people probably are familiar with is Theragun. They make the massage recovery tool. And so what they did is prior to COVID, they were, all of their advertising was around being in the gym, professional athletes, like you saw NFL players on the sidelines using these things. And, with the shutdown of the economy, they just essentially what they did, and they adapted very fast. This was probably back in in April, March, they shifted all of their creative into at home. This is a woman on her bed, taking care of herself. So really driving home that like self-care angle. And then you have other companies using comedy. So like Brava Home is using like hashtag Corona Diet, talking about home cooking, things like that. So whatever your business, just really adapting to what's happening at the time. So, this was when everything was shut down, things are opening back up. There might be opportunities to change your strategy a little bit with, the nice weather and going out. But yeah, just that balance of like being, sensitive towards what's happening, because a lot of people have been negatively impacted, while also, still trying to grow your business. And so now just to get into the kind of main focus of the talk, conversational commerce. So like increasing conversion rates, really scaling your business through conversations, and why that's important. And so these are some stats on chat-based messaging apps. So chat-based messaging app could be, of course, live chats like the traditional one, but not just that. It could be like WhatsApp, SMS marketing, Facebook Messenger, essentially anywhere that you're talking, any kind of chat-based messaging app. So basically not email or phone. And so super important to be on this as a business. In 2020, 2019, it's about 160 million people, and this is only US based data. We're using a chat-based messaging app. These are consumers, so 160 million consumers. And then of the people that completed this survey, 2/3 of them already indicate their messaging businesses on a regular basis. And then 70% of them said that it helps them feel more confident in the business. So essentially, it's a huge channel. Like you have to have all of these different chat-based channels if it applies to your business, because that's where people are trying to get a hold of you. And then two, it helps build up your brand, it helps build up trust. They feel like they get a good experience because they have the ability to get to your brand quickly. They're not waiting a day or two for email or being put on hold for phone. I know I've experienced a lot of pains with phone support over the past like 2 months because I was trying to fly back internationally back into the US. So just super challenging. So this is a great, it's super important to make sure you have all of these different chat-based channels. And then, why are they messaging in to your business? It's pretty straightforward. So it's kind of all over the place, obviously, but basically they're messaging to learn about your product. Of course they're messaging in, not just email. People comment on Facebook ads about getting customer support all the time, saying, where's my order? Hasn't arrived, things like that. But the really, really important one here is people are going to message in and comment on your posts and things like that about making a purchase. And if you look at the numbers here, out of everyone that did, like 80% of people have indicated that they will also message in to make a purchase. So there's a lot of opportunity to sell to your customer when they're messaging in. And also, there's some brands that do a really, really great job. Some brands that might maybe have high ticket products, there's a lot of touches required. Like it needs that interaction. So, super important to be able to talk to your customers, to be able to drive that sale and not just rely on your website and your marketing to do that. And so when it comes to ROI and conversions, what we're seeing within Gorgias, so across 3,200 brands that we work with, the conversion rate for somebody who hasn't purchased within 30 days on live chat or SMS, so they're coming back from an SMS campaign, if you've responded to them within less than 10 minutes is about 20%, 28% on average. So quite significant. What this basically boils down to strictly response time, and 10 minutes is not an unreasonable response time to see, a 28% conversion rate. And then kind of an impact on sales. So this is really a larger client sells shoes that we work with. And this is basically on one day last year during the holidays, so December 2nd of 2019, through just live chat in this example, they converted 230 tickets. So somebody that reached out that hadn't purchased within 30 days. So, almost half, 47%. And they generated from those communications with customers, $23,000 in sales. The kind of caveat here is these guys have a very excellent response time. So when people chat in, their first response time is 2 minutes. They essentially have somebody, covering that live chat 24/7, and then great resolution time as well. So really, there's a huge correlation with being able to respond to your customers quickly. And I know a lot of people might think, I have a small business, like how can I get to people quickly? And there are some things that you can do with automations to at least set the expectation for a customer, if you don't have the ability to get back to them within 2 minutes. And so now, just to cover, a lot of these different channels that you're talking to customers with. So, the strategy for each channel should be a little bit different, but the goal, I think, is the same. It's like providing a good customer experience, having the data to get to them quickly and personally, and hopefully, if they aren't a customer, convert them into a customer. So, going to start with a non-chat based communication channel, the traditional email, and the reason for that is just because even despite the amount of consumers that are coming to you on chat-based messages, we're still seeing like 70% of communications through email. So it's not going anywhere. But that being said, even though it's email and it's the more traditional, channel where people are typically thinking customer support related questions, there are opportunities to be able to actually sell to customers by having quick response times, having the right data about them in the email, and creating call to actions. So the example I'm showing right here is just if this is a typical question. Someone's reaching out, they're saying, hey, where's my order? So they're just looking for a status update. And so what you can do is you can see in this GIF here that the green and yellow unfilled data points. The green fields are just unfilled data points about their order. So having a templated response that can automatically pull in that order information so they get it quickly instead of having to navigate to a different tab, copy and paste it, things like that. So one, you're getting their information quickly. And then at the bottom there in this little GIF, those yellowed fields, that's actually from a company called Smile. So if you aren't familiar, they do loyalty points. And so what this template is doing with this customer is they're actually embedding Smile points into their, where's my order templated response, because what they're doing is they're saying, hey, here's your order information. By the way, you have 230 points. You can redeem them here with a link that takes them back to the website. So not only are they getting them the information they need, they're also creating a call to action from that communication, asking them to redeem those points and make another purchase. So there's still opportunities, even when someone's asking a customer support related question, to create more call to actions to get repeat purchases. And then this is basically an example of automating that. So in Gorgias, this is an example of Gorgias, using machine learning to say, hey, if they're reaching out about a shipping update, and there's an order within your e-commerce platform, in this case Shopify, and the order's been shipped, then we can automatically reply that response here with their order information and with their Smile data. And then Facebook Messenger. So this is it's always interesting chatting with people about it, because I talk with some brands who are like, this is a huge channel for us, works really well. And then I speak with other brands who are like, we haven't really figured it out. We don't use it a lot. And of course, there are a ton of like apps out there, technologies like Octane and ManyChat to to automate and drive sales. Using Facebook Messenger. I'm sure there'll be a few other people talking about that today. But essentially, this is a really cool example for kind of two reasons. So basically, this company, Wholesome Culture, they like to talk with their customers because the conversion's much higher when they're doing that. So what they're doing is they're actually running, this was them running a Facebook ad to their messenger. So click to messenger. And basically, the incentive was a discount code. So once they get to the Facebook Messenger on their business page, they have to message in to get a discount code. And then when they get the discount code, it takes them to their website. And then once they're on the website, they have another live chat that automatically pops up and says, hey, thank you for shopping. Let us know if you need anything. So essentially, they're telling their customers throughout the entire journey from a Facebook ad to Facebook Messenger to their website to communicate with them. So this is just an interesting way of how you can kind of train your customers to let them know that, hey, they should message in when they're purchasing. If you know that you can convert a customer better when talking to them. This is just a really cool way to do that. And then Facebook and Instagram. So, I personally consider this a chat-based type of communication. We've all seen it, and everybody's running their Facebook ads, Instagram ads. And so essentially, still I see huge threads with hundreds of comments, oftentimes positive. People tagging their friends, saying they want to buy, asking product related questions, colors, sizes, things like that. And a lot of the times you still see a lot of responses not getting answered. And really, like, this is a huge opportunity to convert not only the people that are engaging, but also people that aren't engaging. Because if one person is asking a specific question, there's probably 1,000 other people that have seen this ad that just haven't asked that question. So it gives you the opportunity to have conversations with a wide audience, not just the people on your ads. And typically what we see, if you manage the comments in a specific way, which I'll get into on the next slide, and you're basically addressing all of these, fast and correctly, with things like discount codes, answering product related questions, stuff like that. We see that about a 5% increase in the ROAS equivalent to your ad spend. So it's essentially a free retargeting. If you comment to this and they've left your ad, they're going to get a notification in Facebook at the top right corner that takes them back to the ad. So there's a lot of opportunity to convert customers. That being said, if you are spending significant amount of money on Facebook and Instagram, it can be challenging to get to all of these comments. If you have 10 different ad sets and 3 ads per ad set, and there's comments coming in all over the place, it's really hard to prioritize and get to the correct comments quickly. And so one of the ways that a lot of the brands we work with are doing that is they're kind of filtering their comments into three types, at least in terms of priority. So social leads are the positive comments. There's intent, to purchase. Negative comments. So obviously these have the ability to affect the ROAS of your posts and your ads. And then questions. So just could be customer support related question, like where's my order? Could be product related question. And so if you can filter your comments, the brands that are filtering their comments this way, they basically have a queue. So now they can run through and get to all of the negative comments maybe first, either addressing them publicly or hiding them. That really depends on the strategy of the brand, just so that those aren't impacting your ads. And then getting to your social questions, next maybe. So people are social leads, so people indicating that they'd like to purchase. And then of course, social questions. So, people asking, where's my order? It's really nice to be responsive to those because it gives you guys a good, the brands look really, they're on top of what they're doing. They actually care about their customers that have purchased. And so finally, SMS. So for the US, this SMS is gaining a lot of traction in the APAC region, Australia, a lot of Europe. It's gaining traction, but it's a little bit slower. But it's a really great channel. It's a more expensive channel in terms of cost per message. You're essentially spending per message, but the ROIs are very high. Like I've seen anywhere from at least claims anywhere from 20 to 25 X ROI on how much they're spending. And the reason for this is really because the click-through rates are oftentimes 90% or greater. Responses are much faster because it's going to their inbox, so it feels like a conversation with their friend. And people will get personal. So if you send out a message on a Tuesday about a promo, they'll tell you they get paid on Friday, and that they want the promo until Friday. So it's a really great channel. That being said, you need to make sure you're running the right flows, and a lot of them are similar to your email flows, and also that they're aesthetically appealing. So not a big block of text like this one on the left, having nice pictures, emojis, things broken up, so people can actually divulge what you're sending them. And then just because we're getting close on time here, this is kind of the last channel I'm going to focus on. But essentially, the very traditional one is live chat. So how can you convert customers with live chat on your website? There's kind of basically the way that I'm going to discuss this is kind of mimicking the retail experience. So depending on where they are on your website, whether it's your home page, a product page, or the cart page, you can do different things with the live chat to help these customers. So, if someone's on your homepage, they're not really doing much right now. You can have automations come up to basically say, hey, like, welcome to our shop. Here's a site-wide promo that we're running. Let us know if you have any questions, just to let people know that you are available to chat with them. Same as if you were in a store, someone walks into the store, that's what a sales rep is going to do. They're going to just greet the person, let them know what's going on, and if they have any questions, they can just grab them. And then as somebody shopping in store or on a product page on your website, this is where they're going to have product related questions, sizing questions, objections. So in store, you have a sales rep to kind of guide them through those things. So on your website, you can do the same thing proactively. In this example right here, they're talking about sizing. So we actually had a customer who was getting a lot of returns and exchanges because their sizing was a little bit different. So they basically added the correct sizing to a live chat that proactively popped up on those product pages, and it reduced the returns and exchanges by a significant amount. I think it was like 20%. So there's a lot of opportunity to get creative here, depending on the product that you're selling, to really kind of help them through that journey. And then of course, when people are checking out in store, that's when you're usually opting them in for in the store, they're opting in for loyalty, credit cards, upsells, things like that. So you can do the same thing on your cart page. If they're stuck on the cart page, you can let them know that free shipping is available. If they check out now, you have the opportunity to upsell. If you do have loyalty, this is a great place to opt people in because they're about to make a purchase, things like that. And then, so finally, just to kind of summarize really quickly, basically what we discussed is how to increase conversion rates. And so with that, with all of these different channels, how can you track, the ROI on your efforts if you're allocating a lot of resources to your agents? So of course, being able to track the conversion rate of your live chat is gonna tell you how well that channel is working. Discounts on social. So if you're using discount code, that's a very easy way. Obviously you can use pixels and things like that as well. And then breaking down by agent. So if you do have your agents talking to customers and they're converting sales, being able to see which agents are converting, how much money they're generating, comparing to other people that might not be performing as efficiently, is a great way to make SOPs to train the other people. So if a couple people are doing really well, why are they doing well compared to these other people? And how can you, train the rest of your agents to do the same thing? And then first response time. So I showed across 3,200 brands, there's a huge correlation with response time. So less than 10 minutes, almost 30%, in this case, 2 minutes, 50%. So figuring out a way, whether that's with automations to let customers know when you can talk to them, versus having someone full-time manning them, is really important to try to set the expectation that you're going to come back in 2 hours, or to be able to get to them as soon as possible. And so these are just some benchmark stats, people jumping over onto Gorgias from Zendesk. So essentially 30% efficiency gain. So they're able to handle more volume with a lot of those automations. So if you're seeing a 2x in ticket volume, there's an opportunity to kind of streamline a lot of that without scaling your team too much. Improvement in ROAS because of effectively managing your comments by prioritizing them, and then driving revenue, increasing your conversion rate with your live chat. And so if you aren't familiar, we're an e-commerce focused help desk, so specific with e-commerce brands that are using Shopify and Magento 2 to sell their product. We work with actually over 3,000 now brands. And then in terms of the size, we're working with very large brands like Steve Madden, and we're working with brands that have just launched, and they have one support rep. And then we can bring in all of these channels that we discussed, and we have deep integration with Shopify, Magento, a lot of the e-commerce ecosystem to really kind of streamline and automate a lot of those processes. And so one other thing, this is something that we basically started giving away Gorgias for 3 to 6 months free back in March for people that were impacted by COVID. There's been a surge in e-commerce since then. So but this is kind of still a valid offer until the end of June, so a couple more weeks. So like if you were impacted initially or even now, you can take advantage of this and basically use Gorgias for 3 to 6 months free with no commitment. And I can see if I can drop this in the chat, talk to Derek at the end of this, or you can also just reach out to me offline. So this my contact information. I'll drop this into, but it's just billy@gorgias.com. And yeah, that's it from me. So yeah, thanks so much, Derek, for letting me jump in on the first talk of the day.
Yeah, Billy, this is a great way to kick it off. Yeah, give us a whole picture view of conversations at large, and then even talking about of course, the automations and processes we can use to make this both extremely valuable for the customer and cost effective for us. Gorgias should have a link shortener because I set this up for you guys a year and a half ago. I'm going to talk with the team. Never use a bit.ly link again. I went ahead and created a short link that links to the same thing and posted it here in chat. And then if you'd like, you can share your email address with people here so they can get in touch with you and get more information from you there. And sadly, I got distracted right as you got started, and I had a bunch of things to deal with to make sure the conference was on track. So I didn't get the show notes for your session done completely, guys. I apologize. I will take better show notes in the future. Usually I actually have somebody else doing this, but she's on her baby moon right now, so I'm taking care of it for her. Billy, thanks so much. If you guys have any questions for Billy, you can follow up with him via email or chat here. Billy, are you able to stick around for a few minutes in the chat?
Yeah, of course. I'll stay around.
Perfect. Awesome.